Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right into this one. All right, yeah. This coaching carousel is, I think it's starting to ruin college football. And we've got some bullies, and they are definitely on the march. You've got several big-time schools that are going around trying to poach and take from other schools and their fan bases. And what they want is pretty much what you've got. If you've got a winning coach, they want to take that from you. And they don't care what it costs. And if it runs up all the salaries of all those big-time coaches, so what? We don't care. We want what we want. And it's really starting to affect ticket prices and the ability to go and watch these games with your family, especially if you got a couple of kids. You can't afford it. Not unless you're wealthy or you're tied to a corporation, because that's what it's becoming. You're going to have a box, paid for by your corporation, or make $1 million a year to be able to go really enjoy a year's worth of tickets with your family. I think that's sad. I think that's very sad.
Message.
And I think there's a lot of blame to go around, and the thing is, everybody wants to blame the athletic directors, the coaches, and the agents. There's plenty of blame to go around there. Believe that. These agents are a nightmare. But the fan bases are just as much to blame. Easily just as much to blame. And it's because you lose a game or two and they want you gone. We actually had some people up here in Knoxville or Tennessee, Vol Nation, talking about how
we've gone as far as we can go with Heupel. He lost 3 games this year.
We're 7-3. Well, that's just not good enough. Now, we went to the playoff last year. We won 30 games in the last 3 years. Well, he's hit his ceiling. Got the number 1 offense in the SEC.
Again.
Well, so what? Look at your defense. The defense was number 2 in the SEC last year. We've got 3, count them, 3 of our top defensive backs unavailable. 2 are injured and haven't played all year. 1 got injured in the offseason. 1 got injured in the first game. Then we got another defensive back who was all freshman SEC who doesn't want to play. Just, I've got a bad attitude. I don't want to play. Folks, that hurts your defensive secondary because you're tying up money. It's not like you can just go, oh, well, this guy doesn't want to play or this guy's hurt. I'll take that money and put it into somebody else. It doesn't work that way. You signed a contract. You got to pay them either way. So all that money where you could have gone in the transfer portal and gotten a bunch of good players, it's gone. And it puts you in a really bad spot because you don't have unlimited money. So we're going to talk about these teams that are going out after everybody's coach. Now, the biggest bully by far is Florida. There is absolutely no question. They are the Regina George of the SEC. They think they're all that and a bag of chips, and everybody's just supposed to do whatever they want them to do. And if they want to go in and take Ole Miss's guy, that's what they're going to do. And here are the guys on Swamp Session, and they're talking about Florida. And you can tell they've watched a lot of Florida football, and it's a pretty interesting show.
Tonight, trending, breaking, Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin bluntly asked if he'll be coaching Ole Miss next season. He deflected the question and didn't give a yes or no answer. I love what we're doing here. I don't talk about that stuff, and to do that would be disrespectful to the players.
In other words, yeah, I'm taking the job. Read the read the room. Yeah. In fact, I think the big bull gator, Spurrier himself, were out here last week talking to me. Yeah, we're good, man. They're going to give me the bank, and we're first we'll try and win a playoff with these dudes. If they're willing to come, they're welcome.
Again,
huh?
Record crowd tonight at Vaught Hemingway.
Record crowd, good for them.
Would have been the smallest crowd at a Gator game since 1982.
Here's the only thing.
Let that sink in for a second.
Here's why.
13 SEC championship appearances to 0.
You don't have to sell me,
I have told you this before. Florida, Auburn, LSU, pick the one you want. To me, those 3 are the same.
Right.
Sorry, Ole Miss. Well, you're underneath.
Well, and here is.
And you know it. They know it.
Here is the only poison pill for me. I think we talked about this before it started.
That's right.
It's this. Now, I can't wait for Lane Kiffin to get to Gainesville. I hope they make the announcement after the Egg Bowl.
I hope they make it tomorrow.
Well, there you go. Because, what if Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss go to the playoff and they win it?
Right.
Like, then what is your rationale for leave, right? Because the reason to attract a coach to a place like Florida is the fact that there you have a realistic year-to-year chance to win the national title.
Right.
Well, if you win it at Ole Miss, I mean, unless you're talking about record small versus record large crowds, what other advantage do you not have? You just won it all.
And that's the chink in the armor of what Florida's thinking. They've got a situation to where if he makes it to the finals, the transfer portal's over. It's closed. So then what do? You've put all your eggs in the Lane Kiffin basket. And look, he's already pulled the Charlie Brown move on Auburn once. Don't think he couldn't do it again. All it takes is one of his family members, one of his kids, to put together a collage or a video of pictures and make him cry. We don't want you to leave, Dad. We are happy here. That's hard to say no to. When you've got unlimited money there and they're treating you like gold and your kids are happy and they don't want you to go, we don't want to uproot. We're so happy here, Dad. Why would you make us leave? I mean, get you a dose of that. You want to talk about putting some pressure on a dad. Woo! So, Florida, you'd better be careful because here's the problem. If you don't get Lane Kiffin, have you seen Regina George when she doesn't get what she wants? Oh, yeah, there could be a riot. I'm telling you, you better be careful what you wish for. So if the rug gets pulled out from under you, woo, it's going to be bad. And there was a lot of talk that something could even be announced today. And a guy that is really connected to Florida football, even though he's a Florida State fan, he's as connected to Florida football as anybody that I know because he works with a lot of folks and he lives there. And that's TJ over at College Football Addiction. And he had been given some information that this thing could be announced either today or soon. And I had heard that in a lot of places. And you actually heard that from the Swamp Session guys. They alluded to it. But here he is yesterday talking about it. And he was thinking it could even happen this weekend.
If there's one thing you guys have to understand about coaching searches, it's that behind every coaching search is an agent. And Jimmy Sexton is the ultimate agent. So he's going to leak vaguely worded information to sources on both sides. He's going to try to get both fan bases obsessing over candidates, and he's intentionally going to make the media look stupid because ultimately we are all just his puppets. So don't blame the messenger, blame Jimmy. He's the architect of this crap show. And Ole Miss fans, don't forget something. Let's read a list of names to you just real quick. Mike Elko, Kurt Signetti, Matt Rule, Jeff Brom. What does that list have in common? All of these coaches have signed extensions, and they've shut down the noise around them. And as of this morning, Lane still hasn't.
That's such an excellent point. A lot of these leaks are from the Jimmy Sextons of the world, in my opinion. And why would he do that? It's to get fan bases upset and worried. All right, and we're going to talk about that with LSU and Josh Heupel here in just a second. But when you get a fan base upset like Texas A&M, of course, they've got unlimited money. But all of these other places, Brom, Nebraska head coach, Kurt Signetti. You know, Indiana's not had great football pretty much ever. And the thought of somebody coming in and snagging Kurt from them, which would have been Penn State, that's a nightmare. So you put little things out. Oh, he could sign anytime. And all of a sudden, Kurt, we'll give you whatever you want. Oh, here's 10, 11, 12 million guaranteed. And that's how you get in these god-awful contracts. That's why Mike Norvell is in a contract they can't break at FSU. They'd love to get rid of Norvell right now, or at least have the option, but they can't because they owe him so much dadgum money. And that's because Alabama, another bully, went down there and after Nick Saban retired and said, hey, Mike, we want to talk to you. You've had this perfect season. It's his first great season he's had down there at FSU. And here comes Alabama to swoop in, and FSU had to give him the bank. And now they're stuck in this awful contract with him. And it's all because of the bullies. So the word was put out there, okay? All TJ did was just let you know about it. All right, I've worked with the guy. He's a straight shooter, and I'm going to be doing some shows with him this week. And probably Allie Peak of Peek Into the Gators. She does a great job, has a terrific channel. And he's just telling you what he's heard. He is very straightforward. So don't anybody say, oh, well, who's spreading that? No. He's telling you what he's heard, okay, from prominent sources. And that's probably intentional. Not from him, but from the people that want that out there. They're telling the Florida folks, oh, yeah, we may very well do this. Next thing you know, Ole Miss is getting the checkbook out. And I think Ole Miss will match what Florida is offering. The problem is Lane's such a job jumper. It's in his nature. He's fighting his nature not to go to Florida. He had to fight it not to go to Auburn. He loves to jump ship. But if he goes all the way and at least makes it to the finals, which could very well happen, it's a good team. You never know. Look, when you get in a playoff and you've got a high-level team like Ole Miss that's been through the ringer, you never know what could happen. It's not like it's a round ball. It can bounce any direction. All of a sudden, he's in the finals and Florida's in a bad spot. Or he leaves for Florida and Ole Miss is totally creeped. So this Florida thing is a big mess. And Lane's not going to put the fire out. He's not. Now, this is a guy that tweets like a high school girl about everything. It doesn't matter what it is. He's got an opinion. But he can't talk about this. What a coinky-dink. Because he doesn't want to. Now let's talk about Josh Heupel and LSU. As many of you know, for several days now, there's been a lot of people talking about Josh Heupel to LSU. Here's message board geniuses, and I know they're off and on. It says, trusted sources tell MBG that Josh Heupel to LSU is real. This is an interesting one. It says, Brian Kelly was fired at LSU with a record of 34-14. Heupel over the same time is 36-11. Now, folks, if that doesn't tell you something, we're really happy with Josh Heupel. You go down to LSU and have the same record, you're probably going to get fired. Now, you'll leave rich, but you'll be miserable the entire time because all they want are natties. All right, if you do not get them a natty, they got no use for you. It's the way it is. You're either all of it or you're nothing. All or nothing. Here you see Fox Sports Knoxville talking about it. They're on LSU's hot board. On3 has been talking about it, the massive investment it would take for LSU to pull a thing off like getting Josh Heupel. But it's a big story. And look here, folks, the Sports Source talked about it today. It says Heupel has everything he needs here. So if it's gotten to the Sports Source, it's made its way around. And I grew up with the Sports Source. I watched it every Sunday. I still watch it on Sundays. It's just part of the experience of being a Tennessee Vol fan. And getting back on the Jimmy Sexton thing, look, at some point, the insanity needs to stop. And as I've said, somebody's got to say no to Jimmy Sexton, and we're not going to play your game. But the problem is he's got all the chips. And if you want talent and you want to win, you got to deal with him. And it really stinks. But hopefully one day somebody will say no to him.
How about no, you crazy Dutch bastard?
The problem with that is, though, there'll be another Jimmy Sexton right behind him and another and another and another. And there's already about half a dozen more out there just like him. His job is to get as much money and job security as he can for his guys. I have a tough time giving him real grief. I mean, it's fun to give him grief. You got to have a boogeyman out there that you can give a ton of grief to. But he's just doing his job. His job is to represent his coaches that have hired him. His job is to get him as much money as he can and secured money. I think he's doing a pretty good job on that, but it's wrecking football. This bully mentality of going down and taking everybody's coaches and pushing up everybody's salaries and killing it for the middle class is really starting to tick me off. And I'm not going to shut up about it. I'll go ahead and tell you because I don't like it. And Tennessee's going to have to pay Josh Heupel extra money, get stuck in some terrible contract that's forever guaranteed 100%. Otherwise, LSU could come in and grab him, and he'd be a great get. Number one offense in the SEC, number one in 2022. Even with Joe Milton and NICO, it was still a great offense. it wasn't as good as it was under Hendon Hooker and Joey Aguilar, the 3-star that nobody wanted. I tell you, all Heupel needs is an accurate quarterback who can go fast. That's it. He didn't even have to be a fast runner. Joey's not fast. Imagine when he's got a guy that's accurate, can run, and go fast. Well, he had that with Hendon Hooker, and you saw what you saw. There'll be another one. And look, Joey might be back next year. I've already told you I think he will be. And I've gone through, if you hadn't watched my video on that, I went through the whole thing. And I'll be keeping tabs on that as well because it looks to me like a no-brainer. Anyway, did want to talk about these bullies. No, and the Boo Carter thing. Boo, go to Colorado. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
No, and I don't care.
I'm going to tell you.
Oh, well, you've got to give me my props. You got to treat us with respect. Anyway, Boo could have been great for us too, dang it. But look, if he doesn't want to play, he doesn't want to play. What can you do? That's my opinion. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, boom, and boom, hit that button. What's keeping you from hitting the button? I don't ask much of you. Right over here's the most recent video. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
Honey, look around you. To everyone here who matters, you're vapor. You're spam. A waste of perfectly good yearbook space. Nothing's gonna change that.